I'm Sophie Little and you're watching Zanas Media introducing Norwich Sound Vision Live 2013. Today's the opening of the festival, which includes performances from Ghost Poet and Nina Nesbitt, that's just to name a couple. You can join us every night for exclusive coverage and interviews, and you can also get in touch on Twitter at Zanas Media or hashtag Zanas Media. On tonight's show, we'll be featuring local band The Crates, a short piece as well on new media production company Zanas Media. They're producing this very show. We have a brilliant Kilimon Jambo live in the studio as well with us later on, and also coming interviews with Patrick McGrady and Sam Burton. And finally, with the absolutely amazing Adrian Cooke. He's organised this whole festival. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Well, next up, we have a three-piece band on a shoestring budget. The Crates are a local group. They comprise of James Winterburn, Charlie Soff and John O'Wood. They're a sort of smoky blues and grunge sound from Norwich. It's sure to please you, and they're rapidly gaining fans in the city and beyond. So we caught up with them earlier this week to find out more.
So hypocritical the way that you are, you always take it too far, you do. We haven't met that long, we don't know right from wrong, but no one cares.
Well, the genre of the band is we started off as fairly relaxed kind of indie, and then we've kind of tried to establish ourselves on the sort of music scene within Norwich. We've tried to, the music we play now is more kind of like dirty blues, rock, grunge kind of feel to it, so it's a lot heavier than what we used to play, but it's music that we really enjoy making, and I think people like coming to listen to it. So,
well, the music scene in Norwich has had quite a big influence on the style, because there's quite a lot of generic bands floating around, and we kind of wanted to break through with something different. Like we weren't really enjoying the sound and the music other bands were playing, so I think that's why we have the dirtier sound, and it's kind of influenced by the fact we have no money and the DIY aspect, but we all enjoy it, so it's kind of effective.
It's hard at times. I mean, for example, wanting some new drumsticks. I mean, for me, you got to fix something because it's broken. It can be tough because obviously you've got no sort of funding to fix it. I mean, all the instruments we kind of get and kind of source off people that we know or we're mates with, and then we kind of do up ourselves. So it's got quite a sort of DIY feel to it, which is nice. It feels as if we put more effort into it than just kind of buying a new guitar or something.
But what really grabbed me about the Crates was the fun they were having on stage, but not only the fun they were having on stage, they were bringing the audience into the night, and it was great. It wasn't just them having fun; the audience were having fun, and the whole atmosphere just sort of raised up a few bars when they came on stage. It was really, really exciting.
It seems that everyone's a critic nowadays when you're trying to form a band, because they assume that you'll have a packaged sound straight away, whereas playing gigs is all about developing your sound. So that is quite a hard aspect, but you kind of learn from it and you bounce back from the criticism and you learn from it. But I think as a band now, we have our sound sorted. We play what we enjoy, not, you know, what will get us gigs. So I think in a sense that is what people like. Well, in the future we plan to bring out a new EP and just give it out for free to gain publicity and things like that. Just share the music, pretty much.
Pretty much try and get some bigger gigs, like maybe try and get some in the waterfront or the art centre or something. That'd be quite cool.
Thank you.
Now on the show, we're very happy to be joined by the founder of Sound and Vision, the man himself, the delectable Mr. Adrian Cooke. Hi, Adrian.
Oh, hello.
Hello. You're going to give us a heads up what we can look forward to over the next few days. If you've got any questions for Adrian as well, get tweeting. You like Twitter, don't you?
Oh, I love Twitter.
I
can't get enough of Twitter.
Now, Sound and Vision, what started you off in the first place? What was the inspiration for it?
I think the inspiration actually is partly the city of Norwich, to be honest. I moved here from London about 10 years ago and was really impressed with just the kind of creative community that existed there already. And having sort of worked in London and sort of cities in the UK, I just thought this is a city that the rest of the country isn't really paying enough attention to. And then I started going to other events like South by Southwest in Austin, and Liverpool Sound City started about 6 years or so ago, I think. And I'd kind of got a sense of how those kind of events were working for the city, and kind of bringing kind of, you know, this kind of creative industries together, essentially. So I just thought, you know, I mean, in many ways, it's a conversation in a bar that got out of hand, like, quite literally. Actually, literally was that.
Really?
But
It's got
in
very
Tokyo,
out of hand
of all
because
places,
this is a few years on now.
I know. But I just thought, you know, Norwich is such a interesting, quite bohemian, kooky kind of place, and the rest of the world needs to kind of know about it. And that was kind of it, really.
Okay, so you set it up. Those are the inspirations and the parallels with all the different cities that have those kind of festivals. What's the actual aim of Norwich Sound and Vision?
I think there's several aims, really. I mean, one of them is to kind of shine a spotlight on the city and the businesses and creatives that work here and exist within it. And then I think also it works really well as just a destination festival. People, you know, over the sort of 3 years since we launched, have realised that it's just a really lovely city to go and visit for a weekend, to hang out in. It's quite a different sort of feel to like the Great Escape in Brighton or Liverpool Sound City or South by Southwest. And so it's kind of, it's bringing people to the city to enjoy it, but also it's shining a spotlight on the talent we have here. And also, I mean, we have lots of local talent particularly within the sort of music festival, but it's a national and international event, so it's not just about a kind of a local event.
It's a huge festival now. It's grown over the years. It must, A, take a lot to set up, but B, is it difficult to fund as well?
It's quite difficult to fund. I mean, it is expensive to put on. We have been lucky in that, you know, over the years we've managed to find support from people that understand the value and particularly for the city in terms of the economic value of having an event on that brings lots of people and stimulating sort of enterprise within it as well. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, obviously it's a tough time for public funding anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a kind of I suppose it's almost, in terms of the funding, it kind of works in thirds. A third of it is kind of selling tickets, a third of it is kind of public funding, and then the other third is kind of sponsorship. And that's pretty much how it works, but it's not easy.
I bet it's not easy. So as the year goes on, when do you start planning for the next Sound and Vision? Is it a full-time occupation? How much effort is it? And is it just you doing it?
No, well, it's actually, I mean, my organisation, CME, essentially runs it in partnership, mostly with Norwich Arts Centre. Mm-hmm. So we have a team between us that work on Sound and Vision as well as the other projects that we have going on. So it's quite a small team, really. But I suppose the work really starts almost as soon as this one is finished, really. We have a look at how it's gone, kind of what worked, what maybe didn't work, or what could be improved. And then we start thinking about the shape for next year. We start thinking about what sort of bands we want, what we want the conference programme to be. So it's an ongoing thing, really.
Yeah. Have you got any success stories of Norwich Sound and Vision, something that you're really proud of achieving over the years?
I think there's certainly been bands that have been exposed. I mean, we do get very, very good music industry engagement now, and I think this will happen again with the kind of film and digital industries as well, as we grow that side of things. But certainly on the music side, there's been bands that have been picked up by radio stations and by publishers and by record labels because they've been spotted playing in a small venue here somewhere. There's been companies that have been inspired or found contacts through Norwich Sound Vision Conference that have gone on to kind of develop and grow and find quite, you know, international success in some cases as well. So there's quite a few.
This year, the lineup this year, what are you most looking forward to in the conferences and also with music?
The end of it, really. No, it's just. I think the thing that I like the most actually is seeing the combination of people that we put together, whether they're video makers or graphic designers or computer game developers, musicians, labels, and then they just become part of this kind of community for 3 days and they start working out things that they might be able to do together. And those sort of partnerships that come out of that's really exciting, because then, you know, possibilities are endless from that.
Yeah, thank you ever so much, Adrian. Go and enjoy your
worries.
nights and
Okay.
have fun at the opening party.
I will try my hardest.
Well, coming up next, we have a short film about Zanas Media. They're working with Epic Studios and iFilm and TV. They're a young production company. In fact, they've created this very show. They're based out of Norwich City College. They're an exciting group of students who've given up the next year of their lives to work on everything from live events to short films. So now they're going to take us behind the scenes to tell us more themselves.
Hello and welcome. Today we're at City College Norwich to find out a little bit more about Zanas Media, the media production company that's just been set up and are filming Norwich Sound Vision. So hopefully they're going to do absolutely fine. But we're here behind the scenes finding out a little bit more about who they are, what they're doing, and you know, all the mishaps that's going on maybe. So yeah, we're here to find out a little bit more.
The Media Learning Company was set up last year as a new initiative in education to give young people the chance to come together to form a company and work as part of a media company for a year instead of taking a traditional course. The Media Learning Company every year rebrand themselves, so they create their own production company. Last year's lot called themselves Creative Toast Productions, and this year the Media Learning Company have decided to call themselves Zanas Media, which is the goddess of creativity.
So we're here with a fellow colleague of mine, Mitch, and Mitch is just going to run us through a few things about Zanas at the minute and just give us an understanding of what goes on behind the scenes, really.
Well, when we do the Sound Vision, I'm going to be part of the interviewing the band's role. So I have to create a story behind the band before they go on live and create a various VTs. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. It's really nice to get a different perspective of a festival rather than just go into it, see how it's actually made.
Norwich Sound Vision, do you feel there's a bit of pressure on you?
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure on everyone because we could be broadcasting to up to 50,000 people. I think they peaked that last year. So with that comes a bit of pressure, obviously. But I feel it's a healthy pressure because it pushes everyone to perform to the best of their ability.
Well, good luck, Mitch. Over and out. We're here with two other people also working for Zanas who are also obviously working on Norwich Sound Vision. So guys, just tell us a little bit more about what you guys are doing and
we're on VT package 4, which is all about the conference. So we're covering the film conference, there's an interactive conference and there's a music conference. So we're going out, we're filming interviews and the conferences themselves and then packaging it up for the live show.
Are there any particular acts that you're looking forward to in terms of interviewing?
I'm quite interested in interviewing Sam Burton, who actually owns the Carbon Neutral Innovative Fund, I believe it's called. She seems like quite an interesting person, see who she's been funding recently. So yeah, that should be quite fun.
So we're here with Evie. Evie, tell us a little bit more about your job and what you're doing for Sound Vision.
I'm part of the live team, so I'm kind of responsible for formatting that and putting it together. At the moment we're working on a VT package for Angel Mendoza, so we're doing all the paperwork for that and doing shot lists and getting all the questions ready, so we'll be ready to shoot him next week.
Who is this Angel Mendoza I've been hearing a lot about?
He's probably the biggest name at Sound Vision this year. He's a music supervisor. He's done work on No Country for Old Men, Inglourious Basterds, Fast and Furious 6, and loads of other stuff. So he's a really big name, and we've got an interview with him, which is amazing.
Yeah. You know, is there anyone in particular when we have the live performances or live set in the studio that you're looking forward to seeing or just being part of?
I'm really looking forward to working with Killerman Jambo and We Were Evergreen. I think their music's quite kind of happy and cheerful, and I don't know, I quite like it, so it's kind of exciting that I'm going to be able to meet them next week.
Alright Evie, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on this little VT we've got going on of Zanas Media. So yeah, best of luck. Hope you do good.
Thank you.
Well, Well, get ready to tweet your questions in, because here in the studio is local up-and-coming ska funk band Kilimanjaro. Now, this time last year, they were supporting Ed Sheeran at sold-out gigs. Now they're here at Norwich Sound Vision to launch the most important tour of their career so far, supporting La Brass Banda in Germany. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Kilimanjaro.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I said that I'm going to introduce you, but actually I'm handing it over to you, starting with Frank. Tell us your names and what you play.
See, I'm Frank and I play the guitar.
I'm Jamie, I'm the singist.
I'm Johnny and I play the saxophone.
I'm George, I play drums.
I'm Bramley and I play the trumpet.
I'm Lake and I play, what do I play again?
Bass guitar.
We are Sea Panda.
We're not actually.
That is a lot of instruments and a lot of people. What kind of sound do you think you create? How would you describe yourselves?
Kind of like a barnyard funk, ska, reggae, intergalactic dance band.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally.
It's pretty common in Norfolk.
We tend to play kind of like funk, ska, reggae, kind of
intergalactic.
dancey music.
You want to complicate things.
Now, there are a few kind of like ska bands around, but how do you guys set yourselves apart from that?
I wouldn't say we really tried to
No.
set ourselves apart really at all. I'd just say we kind of...
We don't try, but
we do our own thing.
We play funk ska as well.
Yeah.
It's an amalgamation between the two styles.
Yeah, nice choice of the word amalgamation.
Now, the Norwich music scene, how does that influence you, would you say? Do you get involved in it a lot?
We've played in the Norwich music scene for quite a while.
We're from Norwich.
Yeah, obviously, but like, there's quite a few Norwich bands that say that have influenced us that we've grown up musically with.
Like who?
Solco, Dumbfounders, I mean, Lake plays with Feral Mouth as well, so he kind of brings the country thing with him, or likes to think he does.
Yeah, I try to believe I do. I don't think I actually do.
So, yeah, I'd say they probably have, yeah.
Okay, so you've got connections with Norwich bands. What about your Norwich fan base? What's that like?
This has grown.
I wouldn't
support. Yeah.
I wouldn't say we really know that.
We know quite a few people personally as well. Like, quite often at gigs, people will come up and talk to us. You know, the
Banana Man.
people. Yeah, the Banana Man. Yeah,
we've always had.
Banana Man.
Yeah, we've quite a few of our gigs. We've always had this random guy dressed up in a banana costume.
I've seen
awesome,
him.
isn't he?
Banana
Apparently
Man.
his name isn't Banana Man, and apparently his name's Miles. Which is my favourite name in the world.
He's a good keys player as well, isn't he?
We saw
in the summer.
Really?
He played.
Why don't you get him in the band?
Well, I don't know yet. I've been trying this, but we played at the Strawberry Fair, and he came on after us, and he was. We had to go because we had to go to another gig, but the setup looked incredible. He had like 8 synths all around him and like a laptop and stuff, and I was like, God, this looks like an awesome band. He's like, it's just me.
You need him in the band. I mean, you're great as you are, but Banana Man with all those synths. No, I'm just giving you a bit of creative input to get the Banana Man on board. But will he fit in your tour bus when you go to Germany soon?
No. Not in that costume. He might have to bring a different costume, and maybe had to. Yeah.
He can have his own bus.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely have the banana.
The banana bus.
So do you know your setup for going on tour to Germany now? Do you know how you're going to travel? And is it a tour bus?
We've got our own bus, yeah.
What's it
We've got
like?
a new one.
What's it like?
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot shinier than our old one, you know?
Right.
It was starting to show its age.
It's quite sad to say goodbye to the old one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
The old one was called the Battle Bus.
And the
Battle
local graffiti artists did a lot of work on it.
Right.
And around this area, the ones that work around this.
Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. In such close proximity when you tour in that bus, does anyone annoy one another? Do you ever?
Never.
Yeah, Luke,
Yeah.
everyone.
Mainly Bramley. Bramley really annoys me.
Really?
Frank's quite
Why?
annoying as well.
Yeah.
Well,
really
I had
Johnny.
I had a girlfriend at the time.
Oh, that wasn't me, that was Frank.
Bramley liked to do impressions of.
That was
Frank.
It wasn't me.
Everyone likes to do
So
impressions.
every other second, it was kind of like Bramley was doing an impression.
Oh,
It wasn't like it.
It wasn't me.
Now,
I'm not with her anymore because of him.
And that's how we got where we are today.
Yeah.
you've got an EP and it's called Thunder Thighs.
Yeah.
What's the name about?
That's based on the beautiful legs of our trumpet player, Bramley.
Oh, really?
They are quite
Can you show us them? Can you stand up?
I'm not getting them out.
But there they are, that's one of them.
Okay.
Thunderous.
If you look on the front cover, that is actually
Really?
Yeah, and if you turn it over,
Yeah.
there's the back cover, there's a review as well.
Bramley. That's actually still Bramley.
There's a title track, isn't there? So it's a track called Thunder Thighs.
Yeah.
Is that about your legs?
Jamie, what's the lyrics about in the song?
It's not about Brownie's legs. Go on, say what it's about.
It's all about Brownie's legs.
It's not about Brownie's legs, but he won't actually say what it's about. But,
Right, okay.
And he probably won't want me to tell
Or just
him.
pretend it's about
Yeah.
your legs. I like that.
That's why I tell everyone.
Now, we've been asking for questions on Twitter. Corby Calaby says, "Hi guys, what would you
Hello.
say is the best gig you've done in terms of atmosphere / crowd / venue?"
I'll go with Playfest. That first one, the very first one we did.
That was a gem. That was the very first Playfest, actually.
Yeah.
Either of the Playfests were good.
Both of them have been really good.
That was local as well, so that was really nice.
Yeah.
Now, moving on from the Twitter question, you've got something really big happening next year, haven't you? What can you tell me about that? I'm thinking festival.
What festival's that?
We all hope to get to Glasgow, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be so big for you guys.
Thanks for
It's
showing
too
up.
much to deal with.
I heard of it.
It's just Glastonbury.
Where is it? Yeah, that little festival.
Yeah, no, we'd like to play that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say no more for now. I'll let you
Yeah.
guys. Anyway,
Talk it
thank you.
over.
Thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Thanks.
go and have a nice night.
Yeah.
See you soon. So a huge thank you to the band for joining us in the studio. If you want to catch the band the last time before they head out on tour to Germany, they're playing as part of the IC Music Showcase live here at Epic this Friday the 11th. Now next we have a glimpse into the world of production funding in East Anglia. We caught up with Sam Burton from the Low Carbon Innovation Fund and Patrick McGrady, who's CEO of Wavelength Films. They told us about the pitfalls and funding solutions when making film and TV in this area.
Wavelength Films is a company that I set up with my partner around about 10 years ago, and our main body of work is to produce documentaries. That's really what we've done.
Oh, he's already doing not as that is the question, because you know the next bit.
To sort of working with a presenter is something we've done in a number of our films. It's one of the things that we, if we have a specialism, I suppose it's working with high-profile presenters. We had worked with Stephen Fry on another film before we made the film about Wagner.
Stephen Fry is making a journey.
It's been a film that's played to audiences not just in the UK, but in America, in Germany, which is interesting. It's played in Australia, in New Zealand, to audiences on TV and also in cinemas.
I'm not sure if I was allowed in.
Generally speaking, the challenge is always the same, which is that how do you get your ideas, the story that you want to tell, how do you get it out there to an audience? And inevitably, that requires you to raise money.
The Low Carbon Innovation Fund is a fund for any industry actually, but my specific role is for the creative industries. So what the fund does is it invests in businesses, single projects, slates of projects across the creative industries and, like I say, other business industries. My role within the Low Carbon Innovation Fund is to promote the fund to the creative industries, get applications in actually from the creative industries and help people who are applying, so take them through the process. I think funds like the Low Carbon Innovation Fund open access to money actually, so for independent films and creative projects it does open opportunity where there might be less access to funding.
I think it's really exciting that there are a whole number of new organisations who are getting involved in funding films. It's always been difficult to raise money, but the fact that there are now these other groups who are in that arena opens up a whole realm of new possibilities for filmmakers.
The creative industries part of the Low Carbon Innovation Fund is relatively new, so we've got quite a lot of applications in the pipeline, but the only thing that we've actually funded that's gone through so far was an opera that we filmed, a production company in the region filmed on the beach in Aldborough, which was Benjamin Britten's opera, so it was part of the centenary. I think the rise of all sorts of platforms to get your content out there is a fantastic opportunity, because I think it means that there are more and more ways in which you can get your content seen. Historically it would be that you would make a film, for example, and it would be, specifically for cinema and then DVD release. Now we've got on demand, Netflix, Love Film, all of these platforms, and I think actually what it does is it means that people can make and create content and then actually get an audience.
I think the online world, those platforms, and of course YouTube and Vimeo and other places where you can post your work, suddenly opens up again a very exciting possibility for filmmakers. Of course it means you can get your finished, completed film out there to a viewer and put it out there on YouTube, and people can watch and engage with it. But again, it comes back to this question of how do you raise money and generate interest. You can put out clips, you can show work in progress, you can start to create an awareness of your project, your film.
We're trying to redress the balance and we're trying to open up opportunity, but I would say that there's probably less what they call soft money about, which is money you get as a grant, and the person that gives you the money, or the organisation that gives you the money, doesn't necessarily take a sort of stake in your business or your projects.
A lot of people will think of TV or filmmaking, and the creative bit is operating the camera and directing and performing in front of it. But actually often the really creative thing is how do you put together a plan that can allow you to go out and do that work. So you might need to be inventive about who would fund you.
These talented people should stay here and they should make their projects here, and they should, hire local crew and facilities and keep it all alive. And we're hoping that our fund will hopefully go some way to keeping people in the region.
Well, it's that time of the show when I get to catch up with you lot on Twitter, so here's what you had to say. Lauren Rogers says, good luck to everyone involved with Sound and Vision. And Stephanie says, how has music changed over the last 10 years? Well, Stephanie, if you mean in Norwich, my humble opinion is lots has changed. There's loads of new venues, lots have closed, obviously new bands, lots of old bands that have split up. But I don't think that much really changes. We've always had a very vibrant music scene, and you only really need to look at things like the East Anglian Music Archive to have a look back over the decades in history at what's been going on and what influence that's kind of had worldwide sometimes as well. So that's what I'd say. That's how it's changed. Thanks to everyone who's been in touch. Remember, your voice can be part of the show as well. We want to hear from you, so tweet us anytime in the next few days at Zanas Media or hashtag Zanas Media. Great end to our first show. We'd like to say thank you to our fantastic guests. But before we leave you, here's a sneak peek into what's coming up in the festival. On Saturday the 12th, join us for our closing party. We have the incredible King Charles and the unmissable DJ Chiba live here at Epic. For film and TV fans, there's a conference on how to write a screenplay and also a screening of the award-winning film Good Vibrations. That's at Cinema City. Tickets for all of the acts are available on the door and also online. And join us tomorrow at the earlier time of 7 o'clock. We're going to be joined by Jeremy Silver and the dulcet-toned We Were Evergreen live in this studio, plus loads more from the festival. Have a good night.